It's a game of secret words and hidden meanings. Let's learn how to play Codenames Pictures. Welcome to How to Play. I'm Briggs, and today we're learning Codenames Pictures. We'll show you everything you need to know to play this game. And at the end, we'll play through the first few turns of a game to help you jump right into it. If you're looking for a review of the game instead, you can find that linked in the description below. But right now, let's find out how to play. Codenames is played with two teams, one blue and the other red. Assign the colors to each team however you'd like. There must be at least two players on both teams, with one player from each team playing as a spy master for their team. Teams pick their spy master before the game starts, and this can be a challenging job, so choose carefully. Both spy masters will sit on one side of the table together. The other players will be field operatives for their team and must sit on the opposite side of the table from the spy masters. Between the spy masters and operatives, lay out 20 of the picture cards in a 4x5 grid. Select a random key card and make sure only the spy masters can see the front of it. Place it in the stand between the spy masters with the back towards the operatives. The card should be sideways like this, and either long edge can be on top. Give the 7 agent cards to each spy master based on their team's color. One card is a double agent and has both red and blue sides. Give the double agent to the team that's color matches the lights shown on the sides of the key card. This will be the starting team. Set the 4 innocent bystander cards and assassin card nearby. And now you're ready to play. The spy masters will take turns providing carefully worded clues to their field operatives. The operatives then use those clues to find their team's secret locations. These locations are represented by the 20 picture cards. The key card shows the spy masters which pictures belong to each team. That's why only they can look at it. The team that guesses all their locations first wins the game. But be careful, if your team ever picks the assassin's location, the game immediately ends and your team loses. At the start of the game, look over the picture cards to become familiar with the ones you're using this time. There are a lot of different cards and either side can be used, so each game will be different. The spy masters should also compare the positions of the pictures with the colored spaces on the key card. The key card shows the location each picture represents when viewing it from the spy master's perspective. Red spaces are locations the red operatives must find, and the same goes for the blue team. The tan spaces are innocent bystanders. These don't belong to either team. And the black space is the assassin. It's the one that will lose your team the game if your operatives select it. Once the spy master for the starting team is ready, they provide the first clue. Each clue can only be one word and one number. You can't say anything else as a part of your clue. The word part of the clue should be a hint that will help your operatives identify one or more of your team's picture locations. Then the number tells them how many pictures they should try and find for that clue. That team's field operatives will then have a chance to guess which pictures show their team's locations based on the clue provided. If there is more than one operative on a team, they will need to agree on which pictures to pick for their guess. Operatives will make their guess by touching just one picture and waiting for the spy master to respond. If they guess a picture that is not their team's, that turn immediately ends with no more guesses. The spy masters will place the appropriate card on that picture, either the other team's agent, an innocent bystander, or the assassin. Now, if the guess is correct, the current team's spy master covers the picture with one of their agents. They should do this even if that was not one of the pictures they meant for that clue. As long as the operatives guess one of their team's locations, it counts as a correct guess. After a correct guess, the operatives can select another picture to guess if they'd like. As long as they keep picking correctly, they can make as many guesses as the number that was provided in the clue. They can also choose to stop anytime after the first guess if they don't think they are sure of the other locations. If they use all their guesses and get them all correct, they also get one bonus guess. A bonus guess can be very helpful later in the game if the team did not find all the locations from a previous clue, either because they got one wrong or just stopped. However, the operatives will need to remember any clues they missed. The spy master cannot remind their team of previous clues, though they can use the same clue again on a later turn if they wanted. So that's how turns will work. The teams will alternate turns like this until one of them loses by selecting the assassin's picture, or a team wins by covering their last location. Now, there are a few more detailed rules spy masters need to follow when giving clues. First, Clues must be about the content of the pictures. They cannot be about anything else like positions in the grid. Second, only say the one word and one number. You cannot add extra comments like, "This will be a tricky one." Body motions or expressions from the Spy Master that would provide extra hints are also not allowed. And remember, if your operatives guess any one of your locations, even if it wasn't one you meant for your clue, it's still correct. Just cover it up and make sure you don't say something like, "That wasn't one I meant." We have a few tips to help out the Spy Masters. Finding connections that only point towards your locations isn't easy, especially because you'll want the clues to involve at least 2 or 3 pictures each turn to stay ahead of your competition. So our first tip is to pick a Spy Master that is up for a challenge. This can be a good role for more competitive and strategic players. Second, a Spy Master needs to always keep the assassin in mind. Never give a clue that could point to it. That's a fast way to turn a likely win into a sudden defeat. Also, don't look at only your team's locations. Check the other teams as well. It can be easy to get focused on your own pictures and not realize a clue you're about to give would point towards an opponent's location as well. Now, while you'll want to give clues involving more than one location whenever possible, sometimes you just get stuck with an especially tricky set of pictures. Don't be afraid to occasionally give a clue for just one picture to keep your team moving forward. Last, there are 2 special numbers you can use if your team is about to lose. One of these is 0. Use this to tell your team not to guess anything related to the word you provide with it. In this case, there is no limit on the number of guesses your operatives can make. They should keep going until they miss one. The other special number is actually saying unlimited. Like with 0, your team would have no limit on the number of guesses, but use this with a word clue that involves as many of your remaining locations as possible. In both cases, it's going to be much more likely the operatives guess an incorrect location. This is why they are only used when the other team will win on the next turn. Also, for both of these special numbers, the operatives must still make at least one guess. Okay, now that you've seen how to play, let's show you what this looks like in action. We'll walk through the first few turns of a game and explain each step. In this example game, the blue team starts. The blue Spy Master first checks the assassin picture to make sure they don't give any clues related to it. For this game, that assassin is the soccer ball globe. Next, they look over all the locations for their own team to try and find a good link between 2 or more of them. You'll see that the pictures all combine 2 different images, like this one that shows a hummingbird that is actually a snowman. While this makes the pictures pretty funny, it also makes it easier to link the locations because there are more options to use for each card. The blue Spy Master sees that they have these 3 pictures related to feet and consider using that as their clue. But when they check the assassin again, they realize feet are used to kick a soccer ball and that may not be a good idea. Instead, they decide to use the clue wheels 2 for these pictures. One has very obvious wheels on it, and the other is a road where cars use wheels to drive. With this clue, the blue operatives first guess the giraffe, and the Spy Master covers it up with one of their tokens. Unfortunately, the Spy Master did not look closely enough at the red pictures, and the operatives then guessed the airplane, which also shows wheels. The red Spy Master covers that space up with their token instead, and the blue team's turn is done because they made an incorrect guess. However, the blue operatives should make certain to remember the wheels clue for when they get a bonus guess later on. The red Spy Master's up next and provides the clue gardening 2, which is meant to point to these 2 locations. The operatives first pick this card as intended, but with their second guess, they select the card with someone using a lawnmower. However, this is still a red card, so it does count as a correct guess. The red Spy Master just covers the space and makes no other comment. At this point, the red team would get a bonus guess for correctly picking all their clues, but because they have no previous clues to use for this, they end their turn. On blue's next turn, the Spy Master gives the clue robot 2, hoping the operatives will agree the old-fashioned scuba diver looks like a robot as well. The operatives do pick these 2 locations, and the blue team now receives a bonus guess as well, and they're actually able to use theirs because the operatives remember the wheels clue from before. After a correct guess of that road picture, the blue team's turn is done. So that's how turns will work in Codenames. Hopefully these examples can help you jump right into a game. And that's how you play Codenames Pictures. If you're looking for more fun family games like this one, then check out this video right here.